Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, the first episode of season 4 of the L7C podcast, which is crazy to think about. Season 4, and we're starting it off with My Hero Academia. The war is over, and before they do the episodes about the aftermath of the war, part 2 of season 6, we just want to talk about the war now that it's over, the final 2 episodes, what we think, and where we hit or miss on predictions, and then go from there. But first, we have the My Hero enthusiast, Andrea Alanis. Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year. I'm good. Still recovering from New Year's Eve. I was a little more active than I normally am. It was fun though. It was really cool. This is my first New Year's in San Antonio, so it was really cool. I was in the downtown area, so I got to see like all the fireworks going off. Asterisk, it is illegal to set off fireworks in downtown or within city limits, but they lit it up anyway. And it was super cool. I did partake in a few traditions that I didn't really do before. So I'm hoping that gives me a little bit of good luck for this year and maybe hopefully good luck by extension to the L7C podcast. How are you doing today, Martin?
Oh, I am good. Just the start of
23.
2023. Yeah, so just chugging along, starting this podcast because it's kind of funny because last year, the start of season 3 was you as well.
I know. And it's weird to think that last year for the start of season 3, also to do my recording for the end of the year podcast, since I had to do it separate, I was in Ohio
Yeah,
this time last year. It's funny how things happen.
really is. It really is. But like we said, My Hero it ended on Christmas Eve, as
Hmm.
a lot of animes ended around Christmas Eve or that 26th for either their part 1 of their season 6s or whatever seasons they were doing, or just ended completely until their next season. And My Hero was one of them. You haven't listened to Dobby's Dance. We did a whole episode on that. It was actually a poll on YouTube for the people who voted. Thank you. If that was the greatest episode of My Hero to date, and it
Academia,
was
yeah.
50-50 at that point in time in voting. So definitely check out that podcast. We'll go into that extensively before we talk about the rest of the war and the aftermath. Andrea did want to bring something up from that episode, so we'll let Andrea bring that up. And
Yes,
we'll hop
yes.
into these episodes.
And I will give credit for this idea. My friend Amir, I know him from work, kind of brought up that the interaction, the fight between Uraraka and Toga kind of gets eclipsed in the episode. And I agree because I completely missed it the first time. But, and rewatching it, I really realized Toga was actually almost in a very, villainous type way. She was reaching her hand out to be like, hey, what is your thinking on this? I want to understand how you're thinking because if I agree with you, I will switch sides. I will come to your and Deku's aid. And that's like the closing, credits, I forget what it's called. But essentially you see Uraraka at one point kind of turn like somebody tapped her on the shoulder, and then it's a handkerchief floating, and then you see Toga and Twice together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, that's what that whole bit is about, is because Toga was reaching out to be like, hey, you guys killed my friend. So because I don't agree with you, or I don't see things exactly like you do, like I'm worth killing, which is also ironic considering she is a villain. She has, I don't know if we have confirmation that she's killed people, other than the heroes that we've seen her cut during this war after her friend died, or if it's just she takes people's blood and turns into them, or if she actually kills them. But for her, it's kind of like that drive of, if I love somebody, I want to be them. And also having a thing with blood. Obviously, she's got a little bit of like mental illness stuff going on, but it kind of harkens, like we always talk about, to the real world. There are people that have these compulsions and tendencies. And if they do, even if they are willing to talk about it up front to be like, hey, I need help, most of the time they're automatically villainized, demonized, and unfortunately generally have been institutionalized as well, or put on such hardcore medication that they don't feel normal anymore. And that's a whole other debate in itself. But I think it's kind of really, like my friend Amir brought up to me, it is missed that oh, we could have had Toga on our side if Uraraka hadn't. I mean, she's not wrong for, having kind of tunnel vision for, what, you've done awful things to these people. I can't forgive you for that. You are on the wrong side of this. So, like, that automatically means you're my enemy. Unfortunately, again, on Toga's end, when she hears that, she automatically thinks, okay, so then they're going to kill me too, which isn't necessarily true. And that's not what Uraraka said exactly. So there's a little bit of miscommunication there regardless. But also the intention, I think, could have been understood if Toga hadn't set it up to be kind of like an ambush, because that puts Uraraka obviously at a disadvantage and on hyper alert that she might end up dead. So you're not going to be as calm and rational and deep in thought and interpreting all of these words in the moment, much like, again, I missed this. I did the first time around. And so I'm guessing a lot of other viewers might have missed it as well, especially if they didn't read the manga. So yeah, that's kind of all I really wanted to touch on from the Dobby's Dance episode that I didn't really get to flush out because I didn't see it. And so thank you again to my friend Amir for pointing it out to me.
With that being said, because then there was just 2 episodes after Dobby's Dance, and then this war ended. Do you feel like those 2 then should have had their own episode after? Do you think it's worth that they should have had like maybe their own episode after Dobby's Dance, or maybe they should have expanded on that more in the next episode? Do you think it would have been worth that?
I think it would have been worth it, but I think honestly they might expand more on this in part 2. Once the dust has settled and that immediate urgency of like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna have to like, how am I gonna beat her? Because let's be really honest here, if Toga would have been 100% dead set on fighting Uraraka probably would have died. Like, she really, Toga's had too much of a jump in power, and the fact that she let slip to Uraraka, the opposing side, that she can now use people's quirks when she turns into them, that's a huge clue. But I think they might expand on it later, and I hope they do. But if they don't, then yeah, I really feel like it would have been good to air it out either in another half of an episode or just giving it more time to breathe within Dobby's Dance, or actually put it as the start of the next episode instead of putting it in the middle of all of that. Because again, Dobby's truth, how he puts it out there to the whole world, is so overarching and impactful that it is hard to see like those finer, minute details going on in the other battlefronts.
Yeah, I think they'll get there. They'll get another, because what this war has shown in this season is, for most of the bigger students in Class 1A and name, it's shown who their final battle is going to be.
Yeah.
Like Uraraka and Froppy's final battle of the series is going to be against Toga. Shoto's final battle in this series is going to be against Dobby. Midoriya's final battle in this series is going to be against Shigaraki. Now it's just like the second biggest person in the class, Bakugo, is like, is his final battle going to be against someone else in the League of Villains? Or is he also going to help Midoriya fight Shigaraki way later on the down line?
My bet is that he's helping fight Shigaraki, because I think he's really like muscled his way in there, that he's going to be attached to Midoriya no matter what.
Yeah. So you see where everyone else's final fights is. So like with them fighting, they'll have one big final fight to either understand each other or one of them's getting put down. So, but let's go to the threads
of hope.
Yes. At the end of Dobby's Dance, everyone saw Blue Jeanist is alive. Still, Hawks didn't kill him, tricked him, all of that, which was pretty good timing because Dobby was actually going to do Fire Fist, Prominence, Burn, which is a combination of the Fire Fist move and Prominence Burn. So all of them were going to die.
Yeah. He was headed straight for Endeavor, straight for Todoroki. Was somebody else standing?
Midoriya was on the dirt. Midoriya was in the dirt.
Yes. So like all of them, he was gonna get all of them, and then Best Genius just wrapped him up, kind of like how you cover the base of a fire, it puts it out. So saved everybody, legitimately everybody. He put Gigantomachia down, at least momentarily. Unfortunately, during this episode, he gets new orders from Shigaraki to like destroy everyone, because Shigaraki's first order was to bring everyone there. So once he did that, he was kind of like, all right, what's the next one? And so once Shigaraki said, like, to get everybody else, there was a moment where he did bust all the threads. And I mean, Blue Jeanist is struggling out here. He's the MVP for me these last 2 episodes. In connection to the other big reveal for this episode is we have your favorite comeback pop out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, in and out of nowhere, with his permeation quirk, Mr. Lemillion, also coming in with a really big impact in the fights against the Nomus that the heroes are struggling with. And then he revitalizes, honestly, the hero side when Midoriya sees him, when Nejire Hado sees him. I mean, she even made the comment, he was like, Nejire, are you okay? Because she got burned by Gabi, like bad. And she was like, you know what? Seeing you, I feel so much better now. And it's like, one of those things. So
yeah. So when he first came back, when it was like, I don't know what Endeavor, I don't know, it's not like her secretary, like his right hand woman, like the person,
Vernon,
who really runs the stuff, like they were all getting smoked by like, and the thing is, like, these are like
high end,
high end, like, so they're just as strong, like they are the top of the line. And I guess the only part I had a problem with that is like you saw him come back in that because they didn't like shade it well. Like he just showed up and saved her and smacked around 3 high ends and then left. And then he shows up. And then, like, you see that, and then, like, Blue Jeanist is about to get attacked by high ends. He smacks them all away as well. And I'm just sitting there, like, Blue Jeanist and Lemillion were literally the last stand for the heroes. Like, this was these were their final.
And these are both people that nobody knew were, nobody knew were coming. So that's the other thing is, like, legitimately, all hope was lost because they literally didn't have any sort of. They did have a little bit of a flashback where Mirio's talking to Eri about how, like, there's this big fight tomorrow. Like, is it possible for you to rewind me so I can have my quirk back? And she's like, you know what? That's what I've been training for. She's so cute. Has her little ponytail. It's all sorts of adorable.
I do have something to say about Eri now. I don't think this is a hot take, but I do have to differentiate how I say this.
Okay.
I'm not saying she's not going to be a fighter. I'm not saying she's going to be like the best fighter ever, yada, yada, yada. But I do think definitively now, I think Eri is the most powerful person in the My Hero Academia world.
Oh, for sure. Because, I mean, in general, she has the power to give life and take it away in a fucking instant. That's why she was so, I mean, dangerous is a really bad way to say that because it's not that it was purposeful, but she erased her own parents to non-existence.
Yeah.
And so, like...
And in theory, if she trained, she could bring them back.
Right. And it's like, holy hell, like, as much as... Unless somebody's got a quirk that can automatically take somebody's, like, soul out of their body, I don't think there's anything else that's comparable. There just isn't. And my biggest worry for Eri is that All For One finds out about her.
Oh, absolutely.
Because at this point, as far as we're aware, he does not know about her. Because, like, they did not join up with the Hisaikai. So Overhaul never told them about her. All they know is about the quirk erasing bullets. And they came from her. Yeah. So luckily, as far as we are aware, he does not know. And it needs to stay that way.
For now, because I know there have been previous episodes that we've spoken about what if he finds out about Eri. Like what if the final series battle is
protecting her
because of All For One. Because I remember talking about this because I said if All For One gets Eri, it's over. Just like if they were trying to get the kid from the second movie,
right? Like
if he got the kid, it'd be over. Like now you have these 2 kids who I don't know if we'll ever see him again until like the series finale, but Aries.
See, yeah, that's the thing. I don't think we will see him again. I think it was just Nine specifically that needed his quirk, the cell activation.
But Nine was an all for one light. Like he was like the light
Right,
version.
right. Well, he was basically the Shigaraki prototype.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that Nine needed that boy specifically is because his dad's quirk, which was the same, didn't work on, was it type B blood or type? It was a specific type. So Nine needed that boy. We don't know what type of, well, I'm sure we do somewhere know what Shigaraki's blood type is, but it could be that stealing the dad's quirk was enough for Shigaraki, just not Nine. So
it's crazy too, because with Aries thing, like her power has like literally no limits because Lemillion lost his quirk 6 months ago. That's half a year ago. And she's just like, yeah, I've been training so I can X, Y, and Z and do that. And I'm just wondering now, like, can she, I just want to know the depths of her limits because it looks like it has, like, she has no limits. Can she do something to people where if they lost their quirk by not quirk stealing bullets, like, I know she could take.
Would they be able to get it back? That's a good question. The thing that popped into my head when you said that was like, not that could she give All Might his power back because like he's already transferred it to Midoriya, so that's not coming back. But I'm wondering if she can restore his body to normal. If she could, like, if he could get his lung back, he could be in like a normal physical condition again. And at that point, does she have the power to just erase aging? Could she turn Gran Torino back to his like prime? And then what are going to be the limits of the use of her power? Like, is it just going to be solely up to her what she can and can't do? Is there a limit? Like, does this come from her, like, her life force? Does this shorten her life to rewind somebody back that far? Like, what? There has to be some sort of cost.
Well, there was a reason a whole season was based on it. With All Might, though, when he did transfer the power to Midoriya, he still had some, but obviously he used it all in the United States of Smash. Like, what if Eri can give it to the point he gets the power back to the point that he gave it to Midoriya?
Fair. That would be fucking amazing, but I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening.
I don't know. We'll get to how I feel about the aftermath. Currently, right now, they need something, but I'm just thinking about like her abilities, like because All for One doesn't know about her. I don't think like the big wig government knows about her, like the police do, but not like World Hero Association HQ, whatever those people were.
Right, from the movie?
Yeah, because they would have, because the people that were watching this go down, I mean, in the situation, someone would have said, hey, we need to weaponize this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's the best kept secret, but I do think like that secret's not going to be
kept
out
forever
for long because she's probably going to be the one who helps because Midoriya technically at the end of this should not be able to fight ever again.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's all I could think while I'm watching this is like, yeah, Ari's going to pop up and rewind and heal. And honestly, I wonder if she's going to rewind and heal Aizawa to have a leg back.
Probably, because
it's going to be a real pain for him to not have a lower leg.
But we don't know how many times she can do it. We don't know how many times she can do it in a day, though. Like, what if she can only do it once a day? She's only like 6. If that.
That's fair. But, and the other thing I think, maybe if there is a limit to how many times she could do it in a day, that limit is there because she might go out of control and not be able to control it anymore. But Eraser still has his quirk, thank God. So he would be able to, like, help manage that risk.
Yeah, he would have to heal her. She would have to heal him first because he's in no condition to do anything either.
That's true.
Right now. But at the end of this episode, though, you see Mr. Compress, who he's been masked up. He starts talking.
Oh, he's the next episode.
Yeah, but he starts talking at the end of this saying how they're not done yet. And I'm like, wow, final episode. Now we're gonna have everyone get their last moment of shining and all of that. But you also in this thing, because everyone got motivated, Bakugo finally says his hero name.
Yes, Mr. What is it? Great Explosion, Murder God Dynamite. Yeah.
I feel like it was really too long, but I do feel like if he would have cut it off at God Dynamite, that would have been fine.
I think honestly, I think Explosion God Dynamite would be fine.
Yeah, that's
Like,
fine.
okay, I can get. I mean, again with the murder, I was really hoping he would drop the murder thing because like that was the thing that he kept like when Midnight was like, "Listen, no." I found it hilarious that Muriel was the only one that was like, "Yeah, that's a okay hero name. Yeah, sure." Everybody, the hero world needs a good sense of humor, and it's like, oh, call back to Sir Night Eye.
He's true, and also at the end of this episode too, where Gigamanchi was like starting to break free, and or like Deku was saying his stuff, and Endeavor last remaining straight, literally punches
Yeah,
Gingham, and
Gigantomachia
I'm sitting
on the
here like,
chin.
where are we like? Because I'm trying to figure out who's stronger than who, like right now.
Hmm.
Because Endeavor is near death, and he's able to fly up and punch him in the chin. Blue Jeanist shows up with his little fibers. He's holding him. Lemillion hasn't fought in 6 months, and he's
Hmm.
beating the dog shit out of high end Nomus, and no one like, and pro heroes are dying to those things.
Yeah,
And it's funny too because of course, like Lemillion, Blue Jeanist, Midoriya saying his worst to pump up Endeavor, all that happening. And then finally, the thing that Red Rocket threw in his mouth finally
yeah,
kicked in.
finally kicked in.
But I got mad because they're like, oh, all these things. But then you see everyone else who's basically on death's door that led to this.
Yeah,
Like Gran
yeah.
Torino's in the thing, Mirko's in the thing. Midnight is
Eraser's in the thing.
Midnight is
Midnight's in the
dead.
thing.
She's dead. She don't even
She
show in the
is.
thing.
She's straight done. You called it 100%. She's done. Because even at the end of Final Performance, when they're going over like the wounded and the people, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever, in the forest, at the hideout, you see Mount Lady passed out. You see Kamui Woods passed out. You see, is it Majestic? Majestic's hat.
Yeah,
You
the
see Fat Gum
so
and
Sunny, they're
Amajiki
all,
just
yep.
chilling. But all we get to see at the very end, the very last time we get to see anything about Midnight is just her mask on the floor.
Yeah, she's dead.
She's straight up dead. They don't want to show her dead body.
Yeah, because like it it was her last stand, man, and no one was there to help her. Like it was her by herself fighting off all those villains. You just get to a point where it's like
Yeah. No,
you
she
just
and it was just so sad because like literally when she had the perfect quirk to put him down potentially sooner, and then they still could have had the anesthetic as a plan B to like up the strength of her quirk. But then she got crushed by rubble without, and again, this
well, they
still
also didn't
chaps
know the
my
league.
ass that they kept floating people up to him with no sort of backup plan if they get swatted down. Like what? Oh, that still makes me so angry. Oh
They
my
also
god.
did. They also at that point when she was fighting, they didn't know the league was on his back because he was
No,
so.
that's true. Yeah, she was the first one that happened, but then yeah, and I just
I'm not gonna lie. When you get to the last episode, well, before that, another thing. Obviously, because it was even on the sites and all that. Blue Jeanist and Lemillion were the MVPs of the
oh
final
yeah,
act. But
100%.
I am sick and tired. It's only happened twice, but twice is too much. How Shigaraki gets woken up on terrible ways. Like the
Yeah.
first time was because they dude made the mistake and the water hit the electricity, and then he wakes up. This time he gets bit in the head.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, that
this.
that spinner just bites him on the head to be like, "Hey, wake the fuck up. We haven't destroyed anything yet." And I'm like looking at him and I was like, "Do you not know how many people this man just killed? Do you not know how many cities and people y'all just killed right on Gigantomachia's back? Like, what do you mean you haven't destroyed anything yet?"
It was
Dobby
terrible.
with his whole spiel. What do you mean?
It was bad. You get to the final performance where Mr. Compress. You get to find out about his backstory, like his
But he
live.
doesn't get to say it out loud. That was my gripe because he made that comment about like, "Oh, you also have an interesting lineage," and then we get to find out as the audience because it's his internal dialogue. But
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't get to say it out loud. So the heroes don't know. He's basically the what great grandson or grandson of basically like a Robin Hood type figure.
Yeah, but then he also starts talking, and then Lemillion punches him in the face,
Yeah.
and then he's knocked out. And I'm like,
Well, he was also going to die bleeding out because
yeah,
to get out of the binds, he literally compressed or removed half of his ass. And then Jeanist, we didn't know this, but can control the fibers on people's bodies. So like he can
Mm-hmm.
control their clothes.
Jeanist is strong. He's
The
strong.
bomb, regardless. So he starts, binding compress by his clothes. So he compresses his body slightly and the clothes to get them off. And so he's basically half naked, which in this fighting situation was warranted. But he had all of these gaping, bleeding wounds. He was not going to survive. He literally said this was like it.
Yeah, and he was saving the people and all. If you were watching too, you did get scared because like a Yugi attempt switch, like Shigaraki switched to all for one, and that was bad.
Yeah.
That was really bad because I was like, dude, you no way. And like he's like, all right.
The way his face changed too, that was really creepy to me. I do wonder why that happened. Because even if he has all for one's quirk, and it should, they did explain the whole transference that, the cells of the body have memories too, and that's why people that get heart transplants, liver transplants, blah, 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 whatever, suddenly have different tastes or have memories that weren't their own and blah, 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 whatever. So there's applying that also to quirks, which makes sense. But he shouldn't be able to just completely take over the man's body and change his face.
They always have a plan. But the problem too, when he changed, like he did the retreat thing, Spirit's like, what about everyone else? He's like, compress toga.
Nah, fuck them bitches. He was like,
yeah, you failed, so
we're
out of here. So they're all leaving. Everyone's trying to stop them. Midoriya awakens. I'm like, dude, this is the wrong time to awaken this, but whatever. He awakens another quirk at the end of the fight where dude can't even move. Danger sense
that it's splitting, like basically it's like Spidey
well
sense.
that's who he's like. It's the point now. Midoriya is based off of the author he's based off of Peter Parker. I mean, his past two quirks are literally Peter Parker-esque, with
that's true.
Black Whip with obviously like webs for Spider-Man. Danger sense is spider sense. I mean, he's been Peter Parker-esque. Like Peter Parker had a thing for science. Midoriya has a thing for like heroes and like all
being
of that
the nerdy
stuff.
Kid that gets picked on, and then all of a
then
sudden
until he gets powers, and then he is just with Midoriya's. Obviously, with Peter's secret is that he's Spider-Man. With Midoriya's secret, which is about to get exposed to the whole world, which basically already did, is that he inherited All Might's quirk and now the whole lineage. So it's like it's just that's who he is. Like that's exactly who he is. He's anime's Spider-Man right now.
And his outfit is green.
Yeah.
Well, not green. I'm sorry. Spider-Man is blue and red. My bad.
Blue and red, but I mean,
why am I thinking green? Where did that come from?
Tanjiro's robe's green.
True. I wonder if that's just supposed to be the whole cinnamon roll sun character color now, but gosh, no. There had to be somebody I was specifically thinking about had a green suit. I don't know. Don't mind my colorblind ass. Whatever. It's
fine. He awakens that thing, and then he's literally throwing because of his training.
That's
from
4 quirks now, though, isn't it? It's 4 that he's now got.
He has 4. float, Black Whip,
danger sense, and then I mean the general.
One for all.
One for all. Thank you. Switching between them both so quickly gets me confused.
Yeah. Well, then he's using like his training from Froppy, how he's shooting.
Oh, I know. When he shot that Black Whip out of his mouth, I was like, "You little ingenious little shit! I love you."
He gets blasted away, and All for One still says "bye bye, useless Kisuke Midori." I'm like, wow. Even on the bye bye, calling the dude
useless. Yeah.
And it's sitting there. I'm like,
is he wrong though? Like. But I mean, he was this close. He was so close in combination with Endeavor beating Shigaraki.
Well, Shigaraki only survived because of those quirks that he stole, like that they stole and put in him. He should have died. The normal Shigaraki would have died.
100%.
But my thing, which when I was telling you before you watched it, why I got mad is you see President Mike without his glasses running. Why are you running to something? Why do you not have the damn professor?
Well, no. In the previous episode, though, you see him getting arrested, that he's like in handcuffs. The police are taking him away. Although I still don't think that's secure enough, though. Yeah, that's not secure enough, though. No. He should have for sure stayed with him. But I'm also like, President Mike, like, bruh, y'all should have left him to die. Like,
Well,
Let him die in the decay. Like what? Just let him go. Like what use is he going to be to you? He's not going to tell y'all shit. He's not going to tell y'all shit. He's not going to help y'all out. If anything, he's going to be around for them to bust out, and he's going to help them some more. So you
oh
should have
yeah,
just left his ass in the hospital to decay.
he's gonna bust out. I mean, what's the now? All for one is normal body, and him just sitting there laughing at the jail
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna take that body. Something like that. It's bad when he's just like, oh yeah, f everyone, and then just leaves, and everyone's trying their last chance to stop him, and he's just blasting him away. And I'm just like, of course, this is how much power we have left. And then your dude, Midoriya's like, Shigaraki, I can't forgive you. You've killed all these people, almost
Mm-hmm.
killed all these people. I really can't forgive you, but I
You
feel
look like
like
you needed saving. And
you needed
as soon as
saving.
I saw that, I was like, oh. So there is the opportunity for Talk no Jutsu here. That's what that means. Okay.
I was like,
All
oh, well,
right.
I don't know about that, but we'll see. But that's how it really ends on Christmas Eve. Like, and then they took their break, rightfully so, and then they'll be back January 7th, this
Yep. This
Saturday,
Saturday. Mm-hmm.
and the war's over. Now it's the aftermath, and like, how are you feeling? Like, I don't even. You
Like
consider it a win, or
no, absolutely not. Like as much as it's like, oh, you beat them back. No, you shit. You're the ones that attacked first.
they were?
You were supposed to be the ones that won. The fact that they were still able to retreat and you are not able to stop them. Oh, and it also just doesn't bode well because, of course, why do you retreat? To regroup, to gather your strength again and attack. You can't pop out heroes that quickly. It's not that hard to recruit people to be villains, to be part of the Paranormal Liberation Front, especially since the Paranormal Liberation Front's message is be able to use your quirks, be able to be proud of your quirks. Because Spinner actually touched on something that, again, call back to my friend Amir, mentioned to me in the like Vigilantes manga is that they kind of get into some of the discrimination against like is it anthropomorphs? Anybody that like Froppy, like Spinner, like Tokoyami, that they don't look
They
like
don't look human.
humans. And so he kind of touched on that during, I think it's the final performance was where he had the like flashback of like asking Shigaraki like
Yep.
what the goal was, whatever. Anyway, so it's not that hard to recruit people. It's not, but it's with the licensing involved to become a hero. Also, after getting the shit kicked out of you as a collective whole, that basically every hero in Japan was supposed to be like on the front lines for this, and they still got their asses kicked. A lot of them are dead or seriously injured, and Aries not going to be able to heal
Dead,
everybody.
dead. We're going. Gran Torino's done after this. He's not fighting ever again. Like he's
Okay.
gonna be dead, retired, because they're like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. Like dead, retired, on the verge of death and retired. There's
Mm-hmm.
like that's really it. Like
Right. And so
or crippled for life.
exactly. And so it's not like the heroes can regroup and get stronger to the level that we know Shigaraki's only at 75%.
Yep.
So of course with this retreat he's going to heal himself back to the normal 75%
And then
and
get the
he's
other
going to
25. Yep.
continue to increase from there. And they were already struggling with 75%. If his healing factor would have been at 100% already, he never would have been on the brink of death with Midoriya and Endeavor crisping his ass. Like,
So
it's
what would you do?
wild.
What would you do?
Cry.
No. Like if you were
Let's be really honest here. Like, what? It's hard because, like,
no,
I
I
do.
mean,
Okay, I do have a question. Kind of bring it up. I think it happens in Threads of Hope. Is when there's something weird that happens with Bakugo's quirk. That he kind of makes that comment that his quirk feels different, and when he's discharging it now in the animation, it looks like it's almost like sparkly, more
I
like
think with the timing of that, how he said he was feeling different and sparkly was also the time where everyone else got pumped for like that final.
that's true.
That
But
it
I'm
was
wondering if that goes to kind of like how Toga had that jump in her quirk abilities and being able to use somebody else's quirk when she transforms into them. If
I do.
We're getting into the activation of like the next level, and because Bakugo was basically on at the edge of death, he got stabbed in 3 different places. Impaled, actually, not even just stabbed, impaled.
If he doesn't get to the hospital in the end of this next episode, he's going to die.
Right.
We know he's not going to, but like in
real
theory,
lifetime,
in real lifetime, if he does not get to a hospital, he's dead.
Exactly. So I'm wondering if like the rest of 1A, if the other heroes that make it through, that don't retire, that aren't crippled, are going to have some sort of power up that way. Maybe. Because it is that level of desperation, because that's what we were led to believe, like with Shigaraki improving, basically fighting for his life against Gigantomachia for days on end. And then Toga basically being also on the verge of death, fighting against the Paranormal Liberation Front. And that's when she got that bump. So, like, I'm wondering if somehow they're going to get that bump before the next fight or during the next fight. My biggest thing is immediately after this, I want to hear from the masses. I want to hear all the complaints about y'all poke the beast. All these extra towns are destroyed. There's this one super criminal that can just level almost an entire metropolitan area by standing on it and just making people disappear. Because that's the other thing, is anybody that went from the decay, technically they're going to be considered missing in action because there's no dead bodies. Unless you saw the person disintegrate, technically they're missing. So I want to hear, and I'm expecting to hear, the number of dead, the number of missing, the number of injured. Like,
I agree. What I meant when I was asking like what you would do, and you said cries, like in this situation, after, because all this is going, all you said like previously, what you just said is all going to happen, but it's like now you know that person's out there. Do you care about any other criminals? And you, for the next whatever, you do all out, like, we need to find Shigaraki.
Well, before we find him, I'm sorry, before you even try to find him, you need a plan of how to put this man down. Because, like, I'm sorry, going in there guns blazing, nobody's got the quirk or quirks combination as of right now that we know of to keep him under control. You need a racer back on the field so he can't set off decay.
Yeah, but Shigaraki,
people that are able to fly or float.
Now he knows about a, like, he's gonna kill him first. Now he's
always known about a racer. Like,
yeah,
but
now with all his new, like, he couldn't reach a racer like when they showed up at part 1, but now with all this new stuff, you saw how Shigaraki was going after. I was so close to having all my deaths right so many times because
I know
he was. Racer was on death's door for 3/4 of this whole season.
Yeah.
And like when he grabbed his face, I'm like, oh, he's done.
Oh, yeah, no, me too. When we see like the blood coming underneath his fingers, I was like, oh, thank God Midoriya saved him. But like, still, like, again, it's.
But what combination? Like,
at this point, Martin, if we, like, I'm saying we need the corporation bullets. That's what I'm saying. I think they all need them. They all need them. They know they exist. He almost tried to use one on a racer. We need to figure it out so we can use it against him. Like, come on. Is it going to happen? No. But in the real world, that would have to be the plan, is you would need to come up with something that would be able to stop his quirks before you can even, like, try to hunt him down and go after him. Because if you go after him without that sort of plan, it's not going to go well. Obviously, plans don't always go, accordingly. Obviously, with this one surprise attack war, obviously. But the League of Villains numbers have dwindled a little bit. The Paranormal Liberation Front army has been also cut down momentarily. So at least it's not going to get bigger than what it already was. Or maybe it will, but at least that's not in addition to the, 4,000 that they already had? What was it? 10. 10,000, yeah. So, like, oh, God, I can't. And also coming to, between Dobby's reveal And then also for the general public, if they do, I'm sure they will announce that there were heroes among the army's ranks. Because I mean, before the attack starts, I mean, we see Slide and go like, "Oh, where are the other heroes?" And then they're like, "Sup, bitch? You didn't get the memo. Fuck you for being a traitor." Um, but I do wonder. I mean, I wonder if they're going to tell the public about that because, like, if they do, that's only going to further shatter their trust.
Oh, it's completely shattered now. There's no trust whatsoever. One,
I feel
it's
like there has to be some sort of faint faith or hope at least because they know even though there were traitors in the ranks, I'm sidestepping Endeavor's conversation completely. Even with traitors in the ranks, the heroes showed up. They tried to do their best. They tried to mitigate losses. They were still helping with evacuation, all that type of stuff. So I think there has to be some sort of general like faith that they want to do good for the public. However, they just keep taking L's, and this is the biggest L they could take.
well, Blue Jeanist, he said it best in Drives of Hope. He's like, if we lose here, there's no faith. Everything's done.
That's true.
And in theory, technically, you did lose because the biggest act. Sure, you caught some people, caught a couple of thousand, whatever. But the most dangerous threat to not just Japan, I mean, to the planet,
No, to the entire world. The fact that Shigaraki only keeps saying Japan, I'm like, bruh, you could take over the entire world. Like, I don't know why you're thinking small sandbox scale. Like,
and think about it from what I like when we talked about that. We talked about like potentially like if another country like that World Hero mission, if something
yeah, like if
another,
the other countries would have been involved to at least, yeah.
But now look at it from this standpoint too, like where just another if we do a once upon make a reference to Naruto on this. But like when they were talking about the Uchiha massacre and the way it did, like if the Uchiha would have did civil war or like on everyone, the Leaf, other villages would have been like, oh, we could go take over the Leaf. Now put it in real world sense. Right now, if someone wants to invade Japan and take over, it's easy.
Oh, they could.
They are completely like, and the whole world saw that. Because let's be honest, they live in like the modern era, so everyone with a smartphone.
They're ahead of us, actually. Yeah. We don't see it in their technology much, but they are ahead of us technically. So
anyone with a TV saw what just happened to the world, to the world's best heroes over there, and they're just sitting there like, it's bad. Like I don't know what type of trust because if you're transparent with everything, like you had the jump, and still thousands of people died. You're gonna have the people saying, "You guys can stop this thing at X distance," and then he killed my grandma, and that's gonna be hard for the rest of Class 1A because they truly do not know what happened like in the main fight yet.
Yeah, they don't.
Like they're gonna see how far they got. They're gonna think, dude, they failed and putting him to sleep, and all those people who literally died just looking up and getting trampled.
Yep.
By him. Your number one hero stuff's out there. Your number two hero's a killer. Like it's just bad, and it's the fact that you in these sure, and I mean Endeavor and them Hogs did do a lot, and they prepared him and all this stuff. But when it came down to it, in this final fight, like Endeavor, Midoriya, Bakugo for most of the final fight, and then Eraser, and then the end of the final fight, Lemillion, Blue Jeanist, everyone coming, Ida, Nejiri, Shoto, and all them, like they were the final things, and it's like that's not gonna be enough because there's a lot of those heroes, like you said, they were dead. Like one of the high-end Nomus, when he ate the dude,
I know,
and chomped him
up,
my God.
Like, when I saw him and he like drilled through the back of the neck, I'm like, yes, okay, cool. And then he clamps down and we see the blood fly. I'm like, oh.
But think about it, you can make more high-end Nomus, you can't make more of him.
No,
like the villains are always going to have that number game, and if that doctor does
escape, technically they can only make more Nomus if they have the doctor. This is also why I'm saying they should have left his ass to decay.
Yeah, so it's really bad because also it's just bad from so many standpoints, and we've done all those case study things a year ago, not knowing fully what season like this war was going to look like, right. And they all come to head. Like, was All Might, obviously he was the greatest thing ever, but was him being the greatest thing ever a detriment?
Really, that's right. In the long run, like
because now that's failed them. Now we did a case study on that. We did a case thing on the bullets versus all that stuff. We did stuff on Endeavor's family. Like, all this stuff's coming to light because now Hawks' shady organizational government thing, that's out. Like, that's coming out too.
Right.
So
I still want to know how Dobby knows his name. I still want to know, was Dobby part of that training? Was he able to infiltrate somewhere? I don't know how. The man can't disguise his fucking scarred up face and arms and shit. So like, does this go back to like his missing years? Because I think I read somewhere that he died, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That Toya died at the age of like, was it 16?
Something like that.
And then that Dobby's now 24. So that's 8 years. That's 8 years that's unaccounted for. So like, is that what he was doing? Like what?
And then let's think about it too with like, obviously these parents, now they're just like, my kid, like they're not even students anymore. They're basically heroes. Like, you're fighting wars now. And all these kids are going to be in the final soiree, minor role, major role. And not all these kids in class 1A are going to survive.
No.
And just
class 1B, 100% no.
And to this day, still, there's a traitor among them all.
Yes. This traitor still hasn't come out, and I was really hoping we would know by now. I think it would have
been too much in these things, because now the aftermath and all this stuff, everyone healing, Midoriya is going to have to explain himself for the people. Like, One for All is going to get exposed. Midoriya is going to leave. Like, it's bad because he's probably going to. Obviously, now his thing's going to be exposed, and Shigaraki's always going to come after him. But he's going to be like, "Well, I need to find him." So, but I just don't know because we know how this is. It's a shonen month. When he gets all these quirks, One for All, I don't know what combination is going to help him beat Shigaraki.
That's my thing. That is my thing. That's where I'm like, how? Like, what quirk does he have beats the regenerative factor? Like, what does he, like, is he going to be able to just, like, throw a punch or a kick so completely that it shatters his, like, heart and organs all at once so he can't? Like, if they're all missing?
He needs to find a way to get his arms and legs to work again.
Oh my god, I know. We're just gonna sidestep that with Ares gonna come in and fix his fucking arms and legs and whatever. I feel like there has to be a missing power here that is gonna be the ace in the hole. I'm actually a little annoyed, as much as it's like great Spidey sense, Peter Parker parallels. How useful is this danger sense quirk?
Oh, so it's going to be
like seriously, like that to me, I'm just like, bruh. No wonder you need it. One for All. Like, what? How does that? Oh my god. It is helpful, obviously, in detecting danger and helping you potentially avoid or find, like, whatever, but like, come on, he needed a better quirk than that.
Yeah, because now I guess it'll help him like hop into stuff. My thing too is that obviously we know why he's getting all these, because he's the main character of the show,
right?
But what if these would have unlocked for All Might? How much stronger would he have been?
Exactly. I have been wondering this for so long as well. I'm just like, why? Like, what is with the number 9? Is it like he's the 9th user? Go back to Naruto reference, like the 9 tails. Like 9 is just the magic number or something. I don't know. But I'm like, why couldn't All Might have had this shit too? Why couldn't have he unlocked Black Whip? Why couldn't he have unlocked Float? Like,
and the fact he was doing what he was doing, and he was revered and feared by everyone with just the basic, but fully mastering One for All is just absurd.
Exactly. It's like
Endeavor was so far behind him with just that. Imagine how Endeavor would have shit his pants if he would have saw
all these other quirks coming out and shit. Yeah.
Is there any time where if you were in charge of them, you would have done something differently? Like, I'm thinking, I don't know. Obviously, it was supposed to be safe for dramatic and all that stuff. I think you switch Mirko with Lemillion and you get the Doctor.
Oh, 100%. That would have been great. But I do appreciate the fact that he came in at the end, because it wasn't, I don't think it was for sure that it was going to work. So that's why they couldn't have him there. my biggest thing, and I've said it before, I think during Dobby's dance, I think during one of the other like recap episodes, but son of a bitch, don't count out Gigantomachia just because, oh, his boss is in Tartarus, so he can't take
That
over.
changed
That was
everything.
bullshit.
That
That
was
was
bad.
absolute lapse in judgment, stupid critical thinking, and strategizing. It doesn't matter if the information that you have says, like, oh, he only takes orders from his master. What if he got a new master?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's no longer the case? Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is where the people with anxiety come in with the what ifs that you plan for. That was dumb. That was unbelievably stupid.
Do you remember any of your predictions from the prediction thing?
I don't. And I don't have that, like, those notes in
Fair
front of me
enough.
right now.
Well, with me, I know. I mean, I was harping
I
on.
did predict Eraser wouldn't die.
You did. You predicted
I
that
did
one.
disagree that I did not think he was going to die. I thought President Mike might die in his place, but obviously he made it through mostly without a scratch.
In theory, yeah, he did. He's probably one of the most uninjured. I will say because I said Midnight or Eraser, and I said definitively Midnight, and I was thinking Eraser. One of them was gonna spur Midoriya, which Midoriya did get spurred by Eraser, but he just didn't
And
die.
Gran
But
Torino.
and
Yeah.
Gran Torino, that one I didn't see coming. Obviously, he's alive now, but obviously, when you're watching in real time and he gets stabbed in the freaking chest, you're like,
Right.
but
That was, I mean, this is all, most of everybody being alive is, I'm sorry, plot armor, because they got beat
most
to
people
hell
with
to the,
most people
yeah.
with a name, because there's a lot of people who are dead.
That's true. That's more so what I mean is the heroes that we know, the ones that we saw a lot of, because we do know a lot of heroes did die.
You know, I mean, shit. The number 6. I mean, Eraser literally was on death's door after like when Shigaraki woke up because he got saved by number 6 Shield Hero. He got saved multiple times by Midoriya and Bakugo. He got saved by the Dragon Lady because she told him the bullet. If she didn't tell him the bullet was coming, then we all would have been screwed. Shit, he got saved by. Which is funny how people say these are useless quirks, but in situations, they're the greatest thing ever. He got saved by the water dude because of the water dude wasn't watering his eye.
Lubricating his eyes so that he could keep his eyes open for so long. Yeah.
He was getting saved.
I also love that callback that Manuel, if everybody remembers, was Ida's work study.
Yeah. So that one I was wrong. I was close. Midnight died. She's dead.
She's
I got that one. Doria's secrets came out basically, and that's why he's gonna leave. So I'm already gonna say that's gonna.
Yeah,
that
we know that's happening. I think I also seconded that motion. Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like there was gonna be a lot. I just felt like one of the teachers had to go, and after the second episode, we were like, oh yeah, Midnight's getting too much time. She's done. She's never had that much. Like she was there talking to all the students, like encouraging them, and she was in the end. Like at the end, you see like the teachers in the back, and then her all the way up in the front. You're like, yeah, she's done. I didn't think. To our knowledge, no student we know their name has died. So I'm pretty sure.
Amajiki is the only one that's close.
Well, yeah, because he was fighting with Fat Gum, and they were.
Yeah, and they got smacked down. Yeah, I mean, I again, we did see his body, so we know he's not dying. Mm-hmm. But it's not like it was that he's, standing on his feet after the fight. So he was pretty close.
I also like how when Mount Lady was down out bad, they always had to put all like the pringly stuff in her butt too.
Yeah.
Like she was like, I was like, and I was mad about that because one of my things was that she was going to have such a big role because she's the only super big hero we have.
Right.
It's Gargantua, and she got smoked.
She was flung around like a rag doll. Like she tried to put up some resistance. I don't think she even slowed him down any. Like
no, she didn't.
Okay, so like putting that force in front of him, and yeah, like that she's standing in front of him, I don't think really slowed him down. I think when she was literally grabbing his leg, or Kamui Woods had them wrapped around his leg where they were dragging, I think that slowed them down more than anything else. Yeah. Like that's really sad.
And I also, one of the biggest things I remember we talked about on the preview before we end this one is that if you didn't do anything during this war, you're done.
Yeah.
So, because I know, so if you did something and you failed, at least you did something. So you have like some redemption. but later on in the show, because if you didn't like Mina is done. She's done.
Mina's done. That's as soon as you started talking about it, I was like, God damn it.
Momo will get another chance because her plan, that shit was like, because I remember when we preview her, like, this is it for her too.
Yeah.
It was,
she did.
Mina
she
effed it up. She effed it up.
Yeah.
Because Midnight was entrusting everything to Momo. As maybe literally this generation's Midnight in the future. She had the plan. She motivated Class 1B.
Well, 1A and B. I mean, it was a combination of the two, but truly, like, I'm still sitting here. Where was Shinsho?
That was
where was Monoma?
You were calling that one for a while.
Like, where are they?
It didn't come. Like, you were calling for them, and I was like, I just don't. Which Shinsho would have been perfect. Now I'm just wondering too, like.
I wonder. Okay, I do wonder again. I wonder if Shinsho is going to be called out eventually to give Makia orders.
Yeah, he would have to get Shigaraki's voice.
But that's the thing. I don't think that's that hard. The voice is not that hard. I think the issue becomes because Makia can smell him.
Mm-hmm.
So if Shinsho was at least in the vicinity, it would work. But obviously, if he can't smell Shigaraki anywhere or All for One anywhere, then he's not going to listen. Yeah. So
they didn't show up. The other school, which we talked about earlier, they did absolutely. They might be dead for all we know. They might have.
True. Like, I mean, Giant Tomaki wasn't watching where he was stepping. He literally saw a straight line and was like, "That's it."
Yeah. So those were big ones we talked about in the preview. But there was death. Now their country's chaos. They have. The government can't be trusted. Now the heroes not going to be able to be trusted. They're going to have to earn it back. But it's like.
Right. And honestly, here's the other thing, though, is the government's going to throw the heroes under the bus.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then the heroes are going to be like, now our own government's like, it's bad. Because then you're going to have some heroes potentially like, man, maybe Shigaraki and them were right.
Exactly.
Now the government's throwing us under the bus.
Exactly. Yeah, we fight for them. We fight for the people. They don't trust us. They're throwing us under the bus like it was our fault.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah. Hop and ship.
Yeah, and now we're going to see all that chaos in this episode coming up. The first episode of 2023. Andrea, anything else?
Y'all, my heart hurts.
Do they have the funeral for midnight Do they have the funeral for midnight this episode or no?
Oh my God, they will. Oh okay. My goodness.
Who's going to be able to go? Everyone's going to be in the ER.
I don't know. I'm sure they'll all show up all super bandaged or like videoed in or something. It might even be televised. Like they might even put it on the news of like, burying, because I'm sure they're going to do like, kind of like, again, like Naruto, when there's mass casualties, they have like a mass.
Yeah, mass funeral.
So like, I'm sure it's going to be for midnight. It's going to be for, what was his name? Was it Scale? No, Scale was his quirk. I
was going to say Shield Hero.
Yeah, the Shield Hero. Yeah. I just can't remember his name. Like he's the Shield Hero.
Yep. Number 6.
Yeah, him, and just like there's not going to be any sort of there's going to be no celebration. There's no winning for losing here. There's legitimately only people can be grateful that they made it out alive.
Yeah.
But as heroes, a lot of them might feel that survivor's guilt.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll feel that they weren't enough because unfortunately they weren't enough to win this battle, this war. And I think that's going to mess with a lot of people. And
I mean, your girl, she might get messed up in the head too, because she's going to really be like, if we would have stopped Gargantua back then, all these people wouldn't have died. This is our fault too. And
yeah.
Especially with those kids.
That as well. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. We're going to see, because now it's part 2 of season 6. Another, because it was 25 episodes. So, like, they're going to get 12.
They'll have 13 more?
13
Oh, wait,
more.
no. There was 13 this one, so there'll be 12 more.
Yeah, 12 more. And then this season's over. And then we'll go from there. But, yeah.
Oh, man.
But with that being said, thank you, everyone, for listening to L7C podcast. First one of 2023. We did talk about on that Dobby's Ants, like, someone dies on Christmas Eve, which I mean, basically people did die on. We just
Yeah,
don't
well,
know
a lot of
confirmed.
we confirmed that Midnight was
Yeah, she's dead.
she's yeah.
But we'll be back. We'll do our usual 4 episode review. By then, we'll be talking about how, again, we've already said,
Shit's fucked up. We know it's gonna be fucked up. It will be fucked up. That's not even a prediction. Like,
yeah,
we'll be talking about it.
yep. Government. Everyone doesn't trust anyone. Midori will probably be gone by then.
Yeah, by the end of the first 4 episodes, I think so.
And then we'll be talking about that and what he's trying to find. And with Andrew, anything else you want to say before we do close?
Nope. Thank you everybody for listening to us. Definitely feel free to leave comments if you want to listen to this on YouTube, or just find the YouTube link for this podcast to like leave your comments. We'd appreciate it. Maybe we'll have more polls in the future. Love the interaction. Happy New Year.